sunshine. Today is a super duper sunny day in Cuba. I think it's like 90 degrees and there's supposed to be a hurricane coming tonight. But it doesn't look like it's here yet.
Right,
so.
and it literally came out of nowhere. It was like all of a sudden someone's like, oh, hey, peligrosa, ba 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 ba.
What was that, Daniel?
Ba 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 ba.
But today, my family's gonna take us through the center of Havana. Havana is apparently 500 years old and it has had several immigrations that have happened here, and each immigration came with new architecture, and I'm really excited to show you guys everything that Havana is about today. Time to go!
So we finally made it to Old Havana. This is actually the oldest part of the town. And as you guys can see on the way here and actually right behind me, all these buildings are ancient but so beautifully kept. And so I think today we're gonna go around and look at the Capitol building. We're gonna look at some memorials that they have here and tell you guys some interesting stories in between because we have the insider information.
Cousin Chase for Adventure, we're all about value on this channel. So right now I am standing in front of the National Capitol building of Cuba. Right behind us marks kilometer zero of the nation, and it is also built to represent just like the one that we have in the United States, our Capitol building. Also, my dad was telling us some really cool facts. Apparently, Cuba is represented by a woman and the statue is within. And the woman statue actually guards a diamond that was a part of the nation, and it was one of the nation's symbols. But then the old corrupt government before the revolution stole it, so now inside all that they have is a copy.
So we thought we were gonna go into the Capitol building, but apparently you can't actually go in.
Nope, it says access denied. So we're gonna take you somewhere else.
And just in case you were wondering what she has under her shirt, that is definitely not a baby bump. That is a camera.
Not a baby bump. Also, I'm just gonna PSA for anybody who's like on any sort of social media. It is never, ever okay to ask someone if they see a baby bump. Because if it's not a baby bump and you're wrong, you're calling the person fat. So thank you, everybody. I'm not with child. It is, in fact, a food baby. I appreciate it. Old Havana turns 500 this year, and actually right behind us are horse-drawn carriages, which was the primary method of transportation in Cuba in the 1800s. Also, you guys have probably noticed, and something that's really famous here is all of the old cars that they have from the 50s. Honestly, this is not like some touristic show that they're putting on. No, everybody here really actually owns a car from the 50s. We've also learned that for a Cuban to own a car, even these really old ones, they start at $60,000. So the people who have cars are typically really wealthy, or they inherited it from someone who was wealthy. Jose Marti is one of Cuba's biggest icons. He was a poet and a writer that really represented just what Cubans are. And anyway, the statue right behind us is really famous. It's right in the middle of the city. And apparently in the 50s, before the revolution, a bunch of American Marines came over here and climbed the Jose Marti statue and pooped on his head. And literally, it was such a huge disrespect that it made worldwide news, even in the 50s. Also, pro tip when coming to Cuba, bring sunscreen. It is so hot, you forget that this is literally a tiny island in the middle of the ocean in the tropics.
So the bar behind me, Floridita, is actually a bar that was made famous by Hemingway. Apparently when he was writing one of his books, he would come here every day and order a daiquiri while he would write. And so they actually have a sign right up there that says it's one of the most famous places in the world.
Guys, this place is packed. Apparently on the walls, there's tons of pictures of Hemingway, even hanging out with Fidel Castro, and you can see it all along. And this is where he used to come every single day when he was writing The Old Man and the Sea. And apparently it's still famous to this day. They call it the crib of the daiquiri. That's where
So we've been walking down this road called Obispo for a little while. It's in Old Havana, and it is absolutely stunning. And it's so full of live music, people enjoying themselves, having a drink, smoking a Cuban cigar, of course.
Not to mention that every time that you look at one of the side streets, you get like this incredible view of like a Capitol building or like one of the ancient buildings in Old Havana. So it's really, really nice to come to. If you guys have watched our Vada vlogs that you can click up here to watch, you would know that Cubans don't really have a lot. So my parents, if you see them walking around, they're walking around with these big red flags like they're Santa Claus, and they're literally just giving like little things like bags of seasonings with Tupperware containers and little treats to the people, and they're so grateful. So I really hope that you guys enjoy some of this footage that we're about to put right here. Que tenga buen día.
Muchas gracias.
So we've wandered off that main road that we were on, and we've stepped into what looks like a little market that's selling a bunch of trinkets like bracelets and seashells and just different like Cuban artwork, and it's really pretty and all looks like a bunch of handmade stuff. It does seem a little touristy, but when you're here, why not? That's the way to do it.
Also, if you guys are wondering what kind of prices there are for some of these souvenirs, you can find things for as cheap as $1. The currency here is COC, which is like the tourist currency, so you can find things from $1 to $6, and even if you want to take like a whole boat made out of wood and leather, for $25.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, sorry. Sorry, trying to navigate through here is a little difficult because it is pretty narrow. All right, so I think right now we're gonna go find some food, probably.
Food or hopefully air conditioning?
Yeah.
Or water?
Something to
or sunscreen? Any of the three.
Something to at least stop the leaking from the pores.
Yes. Profuse leaking. Right now, we're in La Drogueria Serra, which is in Obispo, the street that we've been walking on. And this pharmacy is 105 years old. And as a matter of fact, right next to me, there is a book where doctors in 1919 would write the recipes to the prescription drugs that they were giving people. How cool is this?
Corriente de Cuba. Bueno, ante todo, buenas tardes. Yo, como pueden ver, soy babalao cubano. Vivimos en la parte oriental del país.
Okay. So they live on the eastern side of the country, and they are babalao, which is one of the saints, uno de los santos.
Estos hijos los Paladares.
Okay. So he's one of the godfathers of the religion. So it's almost like a pastor, but of Santeria.
Y bueno, Ifá, que es la religión que nos orienta, nos guía, está considerado como el esfuerzo filosófico litúrgico de la religión yoruba.
Yeah. So it's one of Ifa, Ifa is one of the philosophies behind the religion. So it's the one that dictates what they practice.
Dentro de ese cuerpo filosófico, la religión yoruba, vemos personas como nosotros que somos los sacerdotes de Ifá.
Okay, so they are like the pastors of Ifa. They are the spiritual leaders of the religion.
Que nuestra misión simplemente es ayudar y guiar a todas las personas en el plano terrenal.
Yeah. Their job is to guide anybody who has any questions and be the spiritual guide for all of the people.
Tanto en la vida espiritual como en la vida social, como en todo lo que concierne a la vida del ser humano en la tierra.
Yeah. And they are not just spiritual guides, but they are also social guides, cultural guides. They teach people how to be humans and how they should live on Earth in general. More like your religious spiritual leader and your therapist, almost, and your parent also.
Orúmila se le considera en la religión yoruba como el origen de la adivinación.
So it's the origin of divinity.
Y uno de sus objetivos es lograr que el ser humano en la tierra encuentre su plan de destino, ya que una vez lo escogió en el cielo.
Yeah, and their job is to help every single human find the destiny that was already preordained for them in heaven.
Esto se hace una ceremonia que se le llama Icofá o Ahuifacán, o sea, el comienzo del plan de destino de cada persona.
So each person goes through a ceremony que se llama
Icofá en las mujeres,
Icofá for women,
y Ahuifacán en los hombres.
and Ahuifacán for men. And that's a ceremony that starts their journey to find the destiny that's made for them on earth. Óyeme, muchísimas gracias. No sabes cuánto se lo agradezco. If you guys have been watching our channel, you would know that we love the people that we get to meet and all the different cultures that we get to experience. And it was really awesome to get to find out about a totally different religion.
Yeah, and that was... Oh, sorry.
No, that most people just don't even know about.
And that was all stuff that, like, I had never really heard of Santeria before coming to Cuba, honestly. Like, all I heard was, like, the stuff on TV about, like, sacrifices, and that was it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because a lot of people's perceptions of Santeria is like that it's voodoo or that it's witchcraft. And they have ceremonies that aren't totally far off that, but that's so not what the religion's about. You know, it's about finding your destiny that was already preordained by God. So it was just so cool to get to talk